Welcome back to Did It Work? My name's Nina, and today we're doing Emerald Lagasse's Chicken and Dumplings from his book Louisiana Real and Rustic, page 134 and 135. This is a continuance. I made my own chicken broth. So I boiled my chicken and I used an entire chicken, and it was like 4.5 pounds. And I made my own broth by roughly chopping a cup and a half of celery, a cup and a half of carrots, 8 cloves of garlic, 3 bay leaves, 4 quarts of water, tablespoon of salt, about three quarters of a teaspoon of black pepper, a quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and a half a teaspoon of thyme. I put it all in a big old pot. That pot, made it boil, and then I let it simmer for 2 hours. And then I let it completely cool. Now it's completely cooled, and now I am deboning this. And so I am just going to take, this is like completely cold because I had this in the fridge. So now I am going to take the meat off of this, and I'm going to remove as much of the fat as I can as well. And I'm putting all the meat in this bowl. This was a request of my daughter. So, Lexi, I hope this works out for the weather that you guys are having there. I'm sure it will be quite appropriate. I'm still having pretty good weather here. So, make sure you try to get out as many bones as you can. And if you find vegetables that you had in there, you can either leave them or take them out. I'm taking them out because I'm not a big fan of cooked vegetables. The more fat that you remove off of this, the less fatty the chicken and dumplings has got to be. If you're going to ask what happens if you leave the fat on there, you're just going to have fat on there. And here pretty soon, I'm going to skim the fat off of the broth that we already have. So if you leave the fat on there, you're going to end up skimming more fat off the top. So taking fat off, you're only helping yourself in the end. So FYI, if you're asking yourself that question. Knowing my daughter, she'll ask that question. Fat. Fat. So if it feels like fat, then it's fat, guys. We're done with the meat. So I'm going to just set this aside and wash my hands. So here is the broth that I had. This is what the chicken was cooking in. And this is the fat that I was saying that was on top of it. And I'm just taking a spoon and taking it off. I'm just putting it in the same bowl that I just took my chicken out of, because I don't want all this fat. So got all that done. In here is still the celery, onions, and let me take out the bay leaves because I don't want them in there. I got a bone. Get these bones out too. I like the vegetables for flavor. I just don't like to bite into the vegetables. I don't necessarily mind them being in there. I just don't want to bite into them. I don't want to taste them. So, and I also have cloves of garlic in here, and they're like entire cloves of garlic because I didn't chop them up. All I did was smash them down. What I'm going to do is, I don't mind these vegetables being in here. I'm going to puree them. So I don't think I have any more bones in here. And I'm going to get my immersive blender, and I'm going to puree these. So I actually kind of have the flavor of these in here. I already took out a half of a cup, and I'm going to take out just a little bit more of them because I don't need all of these in here. That way I still kind of have the flavor of the vegetables. Really trying not to make a mess right now. I don't mind the flavor of them. I just don't want to bite into them. I am that person. I just don't want to bite into cooked vegetables. So I blend them up. I put this on low. I'm trying not to make a mess. I am wearing a white shirt. I love immersive blenders, by the way. Immersion. There are immersion blenders. All right. That is good. This is so perfect. No more vegetables in here. I am so happy. I'm going to taste it. I'm going to make sure my flavors are good. Flavors are great. So this is all done. We're going to put the meat back in here. So the recipe calls for 3.5 pounds of chicken, I used 4.5 pounds of chicken, so I have a whole extra pound of chicken in here. Everything in me says to start these over. So I am. I'm going to start my dumplings over because they don't look right. And I don't know where I went wrong, but I think I went wrong somewhere. So we're going to start over, guys. So this is still getting hot anyway. All right. So I'm going to just quickly redo this again, okay? 1/4. I'll leave this out. My cup of milk. This is the one thing about cooking and like your intuition. You like always go with your intuition. If your intuition is telling you
1 egg.
it's not right, well, by golly, it's probably not right.
Beat the eggs and milk together.
Get my salt, 1/2 teaspoon, my white pepper,
1/4 of a teaspoon.
3 tablespoons of parsley. I don't have fresh parsley, so I'm using the dry. Figure out where I went wrong at. 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Let's mix all this stuff together. It should have a thick batter. I messed this thing up in all kinds of ways first time, guys. All kinds of ways I messed this thing up. I still didn't put the vegetables in there, so I'm still missing 1/2 cup of ingredients. So I don't have a thick batter because of that, so I'm still going to have to put that flour in there.
I put an additional 1/2 cup of flour in there since I didn't put 1/2 cup of vegetables in there.
So this is boiling, which is a good thing. It's nice and meaty. All right, this is a thick batter now. Set aside. It is not going to get the rest that it deserves.
The dumpling batter should be made right after you finish deboning the chicken and before you put the broth on the stove to start reheating.
So once it boils, I turn the heat down to medium high. This does look good though, so at least it looks good and smells good. I figured out where I messed up. 3/4 cup of milk and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm going to stir this up and I'm going to add it to here. So this is going to make a thickening for the chicken and dumplings. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know how much I'm going to like that, but Lexi, this is for you. You better like this, girl, because this is going to make it quite thick. I have to bring it back to a boil because you get at your max thickening once your stuff comes to a boil. Now I'm going to get my spoon together because I'm going to put the dumplings in there by tablespoon. Got to taste this again. I am going to add salt to this. Give this another taste. Oh, that tastes much better. I'm about to put in the dumplings. They say the dumplings should cook about 4 minutes, not to break them up. I've already removed my bay leaves because it tells me the last step is just to remove the bay leaves. Heaping tablespoon. Let's see if this works, guys. And I'm supposed to go everywhere. Oh, it says dispersing them evenly. I don't know what that means. Evenly around the pot. I don't know. Now, when I made these when my kids were young, I used just biscuits. I got Pillsbury biscuits and I just cut the biscuits up and then I gave them to my kids and I let them put them in the pot because they liked to do it. They enjoyed it. It was something for them to do. And that's what I did. I think I'm making these too big because these things are seeming to be huge. So I'm going to make the rest of these a little bit smaller. I just hope they turn out good. Now, the soup itself is good. So if worst case scenario, I take out the dumplings and everything else has got to be fine. Worst case scenario, take out the dumplings and I have chicken soup. Look, I got noodles in the cabinet. I'll just put some noodles up in here. All right, that's it. I'm done. That's all the dumplings. Am I supposed to turn these? I don't know if I'm supposed to turn these or not. When the dumplings rise to the surface, simmer, cook for simmering, stirring gently, being careful not to break them. So it does say something about stirring gently. So it doesn't say anything about flipping them, but it does say something about stirring them gently. But I'm going to gently flip them. See if I can do this without making a huge mess. Yeah, the one thing about this is I did put cayenne pepper in these, but you really can't taste the cayenne pepper in these. So I would actually put more cayenne pepper in here. And that's odd. Normally, when I do this, you can taste the cayenne pepper a lot more than what you can, but what I am normally. So this is turning out, I think, to be pretty good. I am done cooking and I've let it cool down a little bit because it was really, really hot. And I've got the dumplings are done and all the way through. So I let them cook for the allotted time and I'm hoping they turned out well. As you can tell, I had some trouble cooking them. I had to redo the dumplings. So let's taste this. Let's taste this. I like it. I do like it. This does not have a lot of cayenne pepper in it. So it doesn't give you that much of a Cajun feel to it at all. So put a little bit more cayenne pepper in it if you want. But the seasoning is on point. I do like the seasoning. The dumplings, I'm not mad at the dumplings. The dumplings are airy. This is really good. This is comforting. This is a nice, comforting food. So I do like this. The dumplings turned out really well. This is a success for me. As always, love with your heart, cook with your soul. My name's Nina. Bye.